Hi there, I'm joined by the 16-time champion of the world, Phil the Power Taylor. And today, Phil, we're going to be talking about someone you know very well, Adrian Lewis. He's made his return to competitive darts here at the MODUS Super Series. First of all, what was your reaction when you heard that Adrian was going to get back and give it a go?
I'm pleased. I missed him, not watching him on TV, to be honest. So I was looking forward to watching him. But obviously, he hasn't gone their way today, but never mind. He'll be all right. He'll come back again. Listen, it's always going to take a little bit of getting back into it. You know, when I was playing with him, he was very competitive. He was playing week in and week out. So he was what you call match fit. Now he isn't at the minute, so he's got to get that fitness back up again and get used to playing in longer games again and competitive games against people what can play against you as well. That's another thing. You know, people aren't frightened of him at the minute.
Yeah, playing here, did that give him a kind of? Is it kind of the perfect thing for him to do rather than try and go straight to Q School and try and thrust himself straight back into PDC?
I think Adrian should enter as many competitions as he can, get his confidence back up again, get his scoring power, because Adrian's a big scorer, so get your scoring back up there, get as much practice, match practice as you can. You know, you can practice in your living room or in your bedroom or in your dart room, but you don't get match practice where you're in competition. It's the competition where, you know, you need to hit that double, you need to hit that 180 at the right time. That's the difference.
Yeah, and I mean, we just saw him hit a 180 there. That was a big part of his game, wasn't it? You know that well from that.
Yeah, good scorer, Adrian is. Yeah, good finisher as well on his day. You know, every player's got good days and bad days. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you find in Adrian Lewis what's on song, then, I mean, I've played him when he's on song, and he's had 110 average, and I've beat him.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of player that Adrian is.
I'm thinking of that brilliant match at the Grand Slam where you both seem to hit a 180 every visit. Remarkable game.
I think it was 30 odd, wasn't there? 36 or 37 or something. Yeah, I didn't even know, because you're so involved in the game that you don't even know there's that many big scores in it.
What was he like to play with? Because you guys had a lot of success at the World Cup.
We gelled. We were very comfortable together. And I'm sure Steve Beaton and Adrian Lewis gelled today. You know what I mean? Steve's one of them characters that you can gel with. But I think it's just, like, Steve was competitive, more competitive than what he was now when he was in the PDC. Obviously, he's dropped down a little bit in his competition games. So that will make him a little bit less sharp. But obviously, Steve's getting older. Adrian is getting a little bit older with responsibilities. So now he's got to try to reinvent himself and try to work a way out. How do I now solve this? How do I make myself a proper professional dart player? Even though he earns a living, being professional means you earn a living at it. But being a proper professional means you can win tournaments. And at the minute, he can't. But he's still got the capabilities of doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and when I speak to him...
you've got to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to think, right, you got to watch... I'd say to Radiant tomorrow, or tonight when I see him, watch the Rocky film, where you chase a chicken around the yard. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thingy. So go back to the beginning and think, what did I do to make myself as good as what I was? And then go back to that.
Well, let's do that. Let's go back to the beginning, because you knew him when he was a teenager rising through the ranks. Yeah. What did you spot in him? What kind of player and character was he
I
then?
didn't know Adrian as a player then. I used to play with his dad, Sammy Wright. Well, he's like his proper father. Because his mother obviously got married and he had a stepfather when I knew him. But Sammy was a county player, good player, left-handed, very, very similar to Adrian. Lovely company to be with, a laugh and a joke and everything else. Sammy was like he was a county player and he made you laugh all the time. But didn't go to the heights that his son did. But there again, Sammy didn't have the backing what Adrian got. You know, his mum backed him and paid for him going to tournaments and whatnot. But Adrian, I didn't know he was. His mum and dad, I was down Morning Flowers, his pub, pushing some pennies over for the press, you know, charity thing. And his mum and dad came down. Steve Lewis. Is it Steve Lewis? I think it is, yeah. He lives in one of my properties as well. But anyway, Steve Topless, sorry. Anyway, they said, would you practice with our Adrian? And I was practicing a lot then anyway. I said, yeah, he can come up and have a practice with me. And we just gelled, we just hit it off. And he's a really, really natural thrower. But even if you're natural, like a Paul Gascoigne or a Georgie Best, you've still got to put that effort in. Then the hard work starts.
When he was sort of coming through, he was kind of seen as
It took a couple of years.
Yeah, it was seen as your kind of protege, wasn't it? Like a little bit like people said with Eric helping you out. What did you teach Adrian Lewis?
You don't really teach him a lot. The only thing I did is practice with him, learning different finishes. And I was told that by Eric. If you miss that one, then you've got this one, you got this one. Really is do your practicing. And I'd say this to any professional, any up-and-coming professional, make sure that you get your rest. Your rest it's like bodybuilding or boxing. Your rest is as important as your practice. Because if you go the next day and you're tired, you know what I mean, your eyes are tired, you ain't going to play very well. So you've got to be fresh and get ready for the next day. And you do live a bit of a selfish, boring life, to be honest. I mean, lockdown for me was just like a normal routine for me. It was easy because that was my life for probably 30 years.
At the time when Adrian really got to his peak, I mean, when did you first start to think actually he's going to go on and become world champion?
When he beat me?
At the Grand Prix?
No, he beat me in a little, I don't know, £5,000 tournament,
right,
whatever it was, in Blackpool. And I think we played each other. It might have been semis or last 8. And I beat him every day in practice. And all of a sudden, he played really, really well. And he beat me, and I went, well, fair play. Because before, he didn't have the bottle, if you know what I mean. He didn't have the thingy to win, the belief. Yeah. But all of a sudden, he's beat me. And it's like, I said, well done. Now go forward. Push forward from this now. And that's what you have to do. And you know, don't say, well, I beat Phil Taylor, that's me done. I'll earn a living for the rest of my life. Because that doesn't work. Because the next time I play, I'll play better. So that's what you've got to do. Keep pushing forward. And you went to his first world final, didn't you? You'd obviously been in that tournament. That was a nice touch to go and watch. Yeah. Was there a sense of pride when he achieved that? It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Yeah. Really proud of him. At the day, I said if it was my own son, I couldn't be any prouder. So it was lovely. Even though, in one wish, I wished it was with me and him in the final. You know what I mean? That would have been like me and Eric. That was our little wish for me and him to be in the final. But then I knew my career was coming towards the end. I was in my 50s then, so I thought if me and AD could just get in the World Championship final, that would be the cream on the cake. Yeah, and he won it back to back. Did you think that he might go on and start to dominate darts at that time? I thought when he first won it, I did a little interview after, and I said, now you've got a big target on your back. Obviously, we're sponsored by Target, but you have got a big target. It's going to be harder for you because everybody wants to beat you. But he proved me wrong, and he went on and he won it again. Back to back, which a lot of people have never done that. No. Do you know what I mean? There's only a few will have done that. So fair play to the lad. That just shows you how good he is. Yeah, and you would win it again as well, obviously the next year, beating Michael van Gerwen in the final. But you had a time then when maybe you and Adrian Lewis were the best 2 players in the world, and just coming from a similar area, that's quite special, isn't it? Certainly good at pairs, that's for sure. Yeah, I enjoyed playing with Adrian. It was good fun, and the best thing was that if I had a bad shot, I'd look at him, back me up, and he'd back me up straight away. And then he'd hit a couple of bad shots, and I'd back him up. And that's what pairs is all about. Yeah, I remember some of those World Cup matches. The one that really sticks in the mind was the Australia final. Yeah, with Paul Nicholson. Yeah. The Geordie Aussie. And every player on the stage had darts at a double, didn't they, to win that match? It must have been... What was the tension like on the stage? It was... None of us were nervous, believe it or not. And as soon as they left me a finish, Adrian did, I'm thinking, you've lost now. And then you go close, and then you go close, and then you miss, and you're thinking, oh no. And I think Paul Nicholson had 3 darts, and he missed. And then AD went up, I think AD at 5-5, which is the worst double to leave him. But he went, I said, just go at it. Throw straight at it, don't worry about it. If you miss, just go bang. And he threw straight at it, and boom, went straight in. Do you have any other standout matches from playing pairs, World Cup with Adrian? Any moments that you really remember? Not really. I mean, it was just good fun. It was good fun. Because it was then it wasn't like it is now. It's all pairs now, but you'd play singles matches as well. I think we'd have still done all right in the pairs. Yeah, I think you would. And you mentioned gelling as well. People spoke about the England team last time, Humphreys and Littler, that perhaps they didn't gel. Do you think that's really important? No, I think they took a lot of stick. Do you? People were wrong what they're saying. Yeah. You let your country down. You haven't let your country down. You've gone out there, try your best. Do you know what I mean? I've never understood that one. Yeah. But people look for a reason for defeat, don't they? They've gone out there to win the tournament. Of course they have. I mean, they're number 1 or 2 in the world. They should, by paper, they should win it. It's all on the day. Yeah, and we've seen it with other players as well. But also, these people what are saying, oh, you've done this or you've let your country down. They ain't there. They ain't playing in front of a hostile crowd. I know what it's like to play in Germany and get a hostile crowd, or in wherever else it is, you know what I mean? Or a worse one for me was Holland. I always got good support in Germany, but in Holland I got slated. You know what I mean? You're getting shouted, booed, whistled, because they actually turn the volume down, so the general public watching from home don't hear what's going on. If you know,
Yeah.
so when you're there, it's literally ear piercing. Your eyes sometimes whistle that loud, you wouldn't believe it. So it was I knew Luke Humphries and Luke Litley were going to be under a lot of pressure. Not from the players. If it was played in like say it was here with 90 people, they would have walked that tournament.
Interesting, yeah. You've retired now completely, not playing in exhibitions or anything.
No, I do exhibitions, but I do more meet and greets.
Yes.
Meet people, questions and answers, that kind of thing.
Something like this where it's pairs. You could have played with Adrian Lewis. Would even that, getting back with AD and playing pairs, would it have tempted you?
I would have loved it. Of course I would. Yeah. I'd love be. You know, sometimes they say, do you miss it? I don't miss it, but I would still like to have a go and still be able to play. I can't visualise. I've had my eyes done, so everything's altered. So I can't aim the darts as like I used to do. So I've had to just knock it on the head.
Actually, just when you mention aiming the darts, and it just springs to mind, just going back to that first world final that Adrian played in, did that sort of signify a changing of the way that people played the game? Because it was him and Gary Anderson going at it, throwing it 100 miles an hour. He hits a 9-darter in the first set as well. And then when you watch kids coming through now, they're all throwing really quickly, aren't they?
Yeah, because they're all, what it is, they're all in the bedrooms. They're all playing on their own, hours and hours, and they get in their own rhythm. So as a player, all they've got to do is just stand back a little bit, and it will drive them crackers because they are used. What I'd advise any youngster, if you're practicing on your own, just go back and just take a little extra walk. So you're waiting, I don't know, 10 seconds extra. So really you're keeping in the same rhythm as playing two people. They're only playing themselves or practicing themselves, so they get quick.
Yeah.
Just slow it down a little bit. That's would be my advice to you.
What would
put the worst music that you hate. If you hate heavy rock, if you hate jazz, or you hate country and western, put some tapes on, or CDs, tapes, that shows you my age, doesn't it? Put some CDs on, put it on loud, like a crowd.
So you're almost trying to put yourself off?
Yeah, so you get used to it. So if you can practice, I mean, mine was heavy rock. No, I'm not a fan of heavy rock. I like some, but I don't like most of it. You know what I mean? Especially when I don't know what they're on about. So the guitar's singing, all this business. So if you can practice in that, you can practice when you can play when the crowd are on your back. So work it out a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting.
Work about how the crowd put you off. So put some loud music on. Your parents won't be very happy, but all your neighbours.
Just finishing on Adrian, he's 40 years old now. He's probably at a bit of a crossroads in what he wants to do. He's playing exhibitions, playing quite well in them. He's going to play in the Influencer event here. Yep. Very relaxed atmosphere.
It is relaxed and he'll play well. But it's different when you're on stage. And the worst 2 words for any professional dart player is game on. Because as soon as they say game on, it's like Mike Tyson when he's at his best and the up-and-coming person got in that ring, I'm going to beat you, Tyson. And they look it in his eyes and they go, right, game on. And they think, oh, I've got to now go and do it. So that's the difference.
And we saw him and Steve playing international pairs, missed out on leg difference, but he played some decent stuff. He certainly hasn't lost it.
Steve and Adrian will always play well together. And they'll gel as well as a pair. They'll always be good players. And they'll always be good players to watch. But obviously this time it didn't work out. But they will, if they keep on, if they play again, it'll work out. What's
your prediction? What's your wish for Adrian Lewis's future?
To be happy, to be happy in his own mind, in his own body. Do you know what I mean? It's. I don't walk in Adrian Lewis's shoes, see, so I don't really know. I only know what he tells me. You know that he's had little bits of problems with his health and his family, and that's difficult, and as it is. So it's about getting everything gelled together and being able to travel away from home. And if he's going to be like a proper professional back at the PDC, he's got to be away from home 5-6 days a week, especially when he hits the top level, like the Premier League and the World Tours. So that's, again, a big strain on him.
And finally, one of the things that he said that he didn't like about professional darts before he stepped away was that banter, that sort of camaraderie between the players. He said it seems to be going out of the game, and he missed having a laugh.
He didn't.
He didn't like the fact it had gone.
Oh, he didn't like the fact. I thought you said he didn't like it. He was the one that made it up. But as soon as I walked through the door, I was the one that kicked it all off. So I'd say, where's Adrian? You know what I mean? And Gary says, he's over here with me. And I say, is he cheating, Gary? Oh, what do you mean, me cheating? Do you know what I mean? Just something, just wind him up. So we'd have a little bit of fun together.
Yeah.
Michael, he was another one, you know, we'd have a bit of fun. Barney was a bit quiet. Michael Smith then was a bit quiet. Jizzy would come and practice with you. He was one of the best practices I've ever been with in my life. It was good banter. But it's mainly me, Wadey, Ady, Gary Anderson would have a bit of laugh with you.
Is it the money that's changing that?
Gotta be. Or I was same as them. I'd look at the players what are playing at my time, and you think, what are they doing wrong? So they might think, well, they're all having a laugh and joke. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to practice and dedicate myself, put my headphones on. So whatever they're doing, then they're doing it right.
Fascinating to get your thoughts. Thanks so much for talking.
And they're all millionaires, so they're not doing
Yeah,
so bad, are they?
Not doing bad. Well, that's a good place to end it. They've hit the jackpot.
you.
And Phil Taylor has given his thoughts on jackpot. We'll get plenty more from Phil here on Pluto TV.